He says go.
Warning. Warning. This podcast contains explicit language, frequency test, and spoilers. T-Nerd T presents Nerd Theater. Listen to your favorite nerds as we dissect, discuss, and rate movies. Sometimes we even nerd rage. Rage. Oh. Whether it's sci-fi, action, drama, or fantasy, we've got you covered. TNerdT.com. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Gray.
We'll edit that later. Okay. Holy cats. We are here. Well, hello. Welcome back to Nerd Theater. Oh my God. It has been so long in coming. I am so happy to be here working with Kente. And we're actually doing a 24-hour podcast here. And this is going to be which episode is this, John? 54. 54, recorded January 20th, 2019, almost 3 years since our last episode. And we are bringing Nerd Theater back here. We're doing like a dual podcast. So on our own network, and we're on Kente's network doing a live 24-hour podcast. So I hope everyone's able to join us. If not, well, Nerd Theater is back. And before we go into my host, I just want to mention we're going to be reviewing the Aquaman movie. Yay! Aquaman.
Yes.
Aquaman talks to the fish like Aquaman can. Sees a tuna really big. Grabs it then. Punches its head. Watch out! Here comes the Aquaman. Woo! Now, if you haven't listened to this podcast in the last 3 years, almost 3 years, I like to sing a little song to kind of introduce the movie we're talking about. So let's get in my host here. Ladies and gentlemen, you may know him from our other podcasting adventures on T-Nerd Studios. He is the king of the North. He is the one, the only true Stark. He is bald. He is Canadian and Greek. He's also single, ladies. He is General Jonathan Stoma, Stark lover. Welcome to the show, pal.
Thank you for having me, Chris. My first Nerd Theater. I've always listened to this podcast, so I'm excited to be here to you.
Oh, boy, it's going to be a lot of fun. So next, I would like to introduce, last but not least, the one, the only, the lovely and talented, the co-host of the Hockey Hour, who is also part of Total Nerd Takeover Studios. She is my lovely sister, Julie.
Hello.
How are you, kid?
I'm tired, but I'm here.
This is the earliest podcast we've done in a long time.
I don't think we've ever done a podcast this early before.
Well, I did one time when we worked with I had an English chap I worked with years ago, but this is going to be a lot of fun. So,
did you have Earl Grey tea when you had the English chap on?
Oh, yes. Earl Grey. Hot, not warm.
A spot of Earl Grey.
You don't like Earl Grey, John?
I said a spot of Earl Grey.
Oh, yes, sir.
I like Earl Grey. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, it's not bad. So you may be familiar with some other podcasts from our network. Behind the Iron Throne is one of them, if you like the Game of Thrones. But I'm really excited to bring this podcast back from the ashes. So let's talk a little bit about the Aquaman movie. First, I would like to go over some of the statistics. John, could you give me when the movie was released, please, sir?
Movie released on December 21st, 2018.
Wow.
It was PG rating.
Just yesterday.
Yeah, PG rating, runtime of 2 hours and 23 minutes. It was direct.
John, is it me or are these movies getting longer and longer?
This movie felt a little long.
A little.
Joey, did you feel like it was a long movie?
It was so long. I couldn't wait for the ending.
Really?
It was like I was done, dude. It was like, come on, get to the end already.
Do you remember at what point you felt like this movie should be over? And should I mention that there will be spoilers? So if you haven't watched this movie, don't listen to this podcast.
Probably like an hour into it, I was like, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
John, did you feel the same way?
I think it could have been maybe 20, 30 minutes shorter, but I think it's also the pacing. I think you can have a long movie, but if it's paced right, there's no problems. This, I don't think. I could have done with 30 less.
Okay. Well, there was definitely some cuts they could have made. So what kind of directors and writers do we have, John?
It was directed by James Wan, and it was written by David Leslie Johnson McGolrick and Will Beal, and of course, story by Jeff John.
This movie had a hell of a budget, between 160 and 200 million. And so far, the movie earnings, and I want to thank John for pulling this up and putting in the show notes for me. The movie earnings was about $1.37 billion. So, a lot of people naysaying on DC, saying they're not making any money. They made money on this movie. Holy cats, or should I say holy fish, they made money on this movie. Maybe not the best Marvel movie to date.
You mean DC?
Or DC? Oh, did I say Marvel? Yeah, I meant DC. Not the best DC movie to date, but I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think, and considering it came out like about a month ago, that's not bad.
Think about it. In the all realm of scheme of it here, they got lucky on this one grossing over $1 billion. They got lucky, to be quite frankly honest, because remember the hype for Justice League, and it basically shit the bed. And now I don't know. It just, I think, well, we'll talk about it, but I think they got really, really lucky.
I don't want to say shit the bed. I'm excited because I'm a DC fan. Anyone that follows,
dude, Justice League was garbage.
I think it was okay. It was okay.
I mean, it was nice seeing, finally, for the first time, we get to see all the characters together. Well, a lot of the main, DC heroes together. We're going to review this movie probably very shortly, to be honest with you. It was nice to see them together. And I think that DC is trying to play catch up with Marvel, but I think that they did it in a couple movies, but they didn't do it in most of their content. And I think their animated stuff. But like this movie here, I thought was okay. And we're going to rate it towards the end of the show. But I mean, in terms of, let's look at it this way. They took a character from the DC universe who has just started to get some popularity, I guess, after it was the New 52. And they made him from the person that nobody ever wanted to dress up like as for Halloween to somebody that everyone really likes now. I mean, they casted Jason Momoa as Arthur, as Aquaman, and I thought that was brilliant. I think he did a fantastic job. I loved him in this movie. I just think that some of the lines and the writing was kind of crappy, but it grossed a lot of money. It seems like people liked it for the most part. I don't think it did too bad. John?
I liked it. I really liked it. It's Aquaman. I'm not really familiar with Aquaman that as much as I am with Batman and the other characters, but I think it was great, even though, let's be honest, Jason Momoa is not the best actor in the world. He did a good job. Okay. And some of the other actors I kind of like too.
We'll go over the actors in just a second. Julie, do you agree with that?
No, I hated this movie.
So you flat out thought it was hot garbage.
Completely thought it was trash.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was at one point I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to finish watching this. Like I was literally done. It was that crap. It was garbage.
So do you want me to read a brief synopsis? This is the short description from IMDb. Arthur Curry learns that he is the heir to the underwater kingdom of Atlantis and must step forward to lead his people and be a hero to the world. This kind of came out a little bit corny, in my opinion. I mean, I enjoyed, like I said, I enjoyed the movie, but I felt like it was underwater Indiana Jones a little bit. There was some weird, scenes of the movie where what's her name, Nicole Kidman, says you have to be more than a king, you have to be a hero. And I'm like, who wrote this crap? Like, that was terrible. And like some of the scenes,
that was kind of
the scene where he's standing under the waterfall and he's standing there, and there's that brief hero turn moment where he turns around and look behind him. Like, it was so tropey and dumb. I'm watching this and I'm like, that is just stupid. And I feel like in the Man of Steel, you didn't get that as much. I feel like even in the Justice League, you didn't get that. I mean, there was corny scenes, but not like that. So there was some corny stuff. However, there was some fun bits in the movie, like when Aquaman, Arthur Curry, is having a beer with his dad, and they're in the bar, and that whole fight scene. Oh man, they're gonna have a fight. Oh boy, and the next thing you know, it's selfie moment. And I thought that was kind of fun.
That was about like the highlight of it. But the whole thing, like the thing that got me with the whole, hero part, that line could work in like Superman, Wonder Woman, yeah, Aquaman, fucking Aquaman, hero, be a hero, Aquaman.
Go ahead, John.
And what's funny is he's already a hero. He stopped Steppenwolf. Why do you need to be a hero already? You're already a hero. Well, that line doesn't make no sense.
Steppenwolf.
He helped stop
Superman
Steppenwolf.
didn't show up. Nobody was stopping shit.
Oh, come on. Here we go.
But we'll review that movie later.
Here we go.
But you're not wrong, John. He's already a hero. Being the orphan of your world underwater makes him kind of more of a black sheep character, which I like. I like the way that they spin the Aquaman, and I just thought that some of those scenes were just kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, you could have done without that. You didn't need the whole, 70-year-old Nicole Kidman going, be a hero. Like, you didn't need that. Now, she's not 70. I'm just saying it. She looked really ratchet in this movie, by the way. She looked mad ratchet.
Do you think so, John?
I don't know. I want to say ratchet. I mean, she looked okay. I mean, she's no Amber Heard. I mean,
how old is she?
I would say probably 50. I'm guessing.
Nah, she's got to be like
40s,
60s.
50s.
Probably.
I think she looks
She's
okay.
65.
For 65, she looks amazing.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
She's born in 67.
When you've got like 45 trainers and you're married to an Australian country music star, sure. Which is ironic in and of itself, but that's for another time.
Speaking of Down Under, a lot of this movie was shot and filmed in Australia. Did you guys know that?
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
the Village Roadshow Studio, right, John, in Gold Coast, Queensland.
Yep.
We had some production held in Canada. There you go, John. Woot woot. You and your square money with holes in it, and your loons.
Oh, here we go.
Some was shot in Italy and Morocco. Was Morocco where they were shooting the scene where Mantis appears finally with the helmet?
No, that was definitely Italy.
No,
I think
I would
Morocco
Italy.
was the desert.
And Canada was the lighthouse. So the Canada scenes, I think, was the lighthouse or Maine, I think is what it was. And then and Julie was right about the
I
other
thought
two.
Canada was where they shot the port where like they were at the bar and stuff.
Yeah, Maine, right? Because in the movie it's Maine.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
I think that was in Canada. I don't know if the lighthouse was.
Yeah, that's in Canada. I think the lighthouse was in Canada. I could be wrong, but I think that all those scenes with his father, I think was the Canada scenes. That's what I'm trying to say. And then the opening like scene too.
His father, Tom Curry, who is played by how do you say his name? Tamoria Morrison. Am I saying his name wrong? Wasn't he a clone? Or wasn't he was Boba?
Yeah, he was
Boba Fett.
He was Jango Fett.
No, he was
to me, I want to say
Django.
he was
Yeah,
Jango
Django
Fett. He was the Boba's father. Yeah, Tamira Morrison. I guess that's how you pronounce.
Okay, we'll go with that. Pronouncing isn't our strong suit here on the show. Send your hate mail to somebody else because I'm not reading it. Amber Heard plays Mira. Now, I don't like her in anything else but this movie with the red hair.
I thought she was great. I really liked her.
Her lines were a little weak, though.
She's beautiful, man.
She was eye candy. I mean,
yeah, but she's eye candy because she's.
Oh yeah,
sexy,
I agree.
so.
But I feel like a lot of her lines were kind of weak.
Her lines were weak. Some of the parts of it I didn't really enjoy with her. Like I just out of nowhere, some fish lady shows up and starts talking to him, and it was just like, who are you and what the F are you doing? Like it made no sense.
Well,
out of nowhere, this fish lady shows up.
You had to watch Justice League though.
No,
you had to watch Justice League because they interact in Justice League. I think that's the assumption for like that they already met.
Right, I know,
before,
but
so
here's the thing: you got to think like this is why DC is in big trouble. And just to hear me out, right?
I agree.
You can't do Justice League first and then do the side movies after that, like all that stuff. You can't do that. You got to do it in the same realm that Marvel did, and you have to develop and understand each character, because not everybody's going to go see Justice League. Not everybody's going to see that movie. Some people are going to watch the Aquaman movie and be like, who the fuck are these people? So it was like,
Well,
Who are you people? It
They're
was just
building the hype of these
and then it felt like it was too fast. Like they were just rushing to, and then all of a sudden they got to the underwater, they got to Atlantis, and then you're like, what is happening? Like it was just it's such a jumbled mess. It was hard.
I think though that they got a lot of story. I mean, look at what they're dealing with here. The DC characters like Aquaman, or I hate to say cartoonish, but in the older comics pre-52, DC was always kind of looked at least I looked at it as a more of a lighthearted comic book company. You know, like they had a policy with no killing or something for a long time or whatever, and they always felt like a lighter kind of characters. When DC relaunched, and did the 52 and changed the characters up and all that, and then they're doing these movies, they have to take a character that's supposed to be the king of Atlantis. He talks to fish. He wears this orange, like my shirt, and the green, like in the tights, and they got to put him in a live action movie and try to make it fit into some type of reality that we can connect to. That is not easy. So, I think that this movie could have been better. I think it's probably one of the better DC movies to date. Yeah.
No, it's not better than Wonder Woman.
No, I think Wonder Woman.
I rank it second to Wonder Woman. I read somewhere, I don't know if it was Zack Snyder or it was DC, but they regret not doing the origin films before Justice League. And so you could already tell they're making a mistake, because I read somewhere they should have stuck with all the origin films and then do Justice League like Avengers did. And now I'm hearing word that they're scrapping the whole shared universe and just gonna make movies.
See, here's the problem.
Yeah.
DC they're so far behind Marvel that they're trying to catch up to Marvel by doing like how Marvel did. Let's get Justice League. No, just stop. Just do what you know. Just do your own thing.
Hopefully
let the characters develop and let them play to their strengths on their own. You don't need to rush out a movie like Justice League. You don't need to rush. I feel like they rushed Aquaman. I feel like they rushed this. Like Chris said, I think they could have made this phenomenal, but it just turned into a circus show, and it's a joke. Like, this is a joke of a movie. Like, I can't believe I wasted 2 hours and 30 minutes of my life watching this hot pile of crap.
Let's go. Let's go through the cast list here. So I mentioned Amber Heard. We got William Dafoe as Vulko. I could never get when his name was mentioned. I got it wrong so many times, and I'm probably saying it wrong now. But
Willem Dafoe.
It's Vulko.
Great actor.
William Dafoe.
He's good.
Is cool. But in this movie, he looked like a complete dingaling.
This movie, it was so confusing because, like, all of a sudden he's with the bad king, and I'm like, wow, you're a dick. And then all of a sudden they're showing flashbacks to him training, Aquaman or Arthur, and I'm like, okay, you're a good guy. Wait, what? And then he's a dick again, and then he's good, and then he's in that underwater ship, and he's giving this secret thing. I'm like, wait, are you like setting him up? Like, what is? There was no like. I'm like, are you a good guy or are you a bad guy? Who are you? What is your direction? Like,
every time I see William Dafoe, I'm waiting for him to pull out Boondock Saints, where he's like, "It was not motherfucking."
Yeah,
that was an awesome scene.
Dude, that was awesome. Yeah.
Or like they really had him wrangled in, and I kind of wanted more.
Kind of came like a bitch too.
I wanted more Dafoe.
Like, make sure he has a view. I'm like, this is the stupidest. Who wrote this shit?
But I mean, William Dafoe looked
Willem,
whatever. He looked neat when they put him in at a younger self. With the way,
I thought he was a good asset to the film. I just wish that his lines weren't trash.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so we got Patrick Wilson as King Orm.
I like this villain.
I did too.
I like Ocean Master King Orm. I think he stole him and Mantis. I think stole the show. My opinion. I think they're two great villains. I think King Orm was a great villain.
Okay, Julie, did you like King Orm as a villain? I liked it myself.
Thought the actor was a bit of a pussy. You could just tell, like, it was a guy with a mommy complex. That's what it was.
When he donned the armor, though, from the comic book, like, very spot on, I was like...
Yeah, the armor was probably the best part of it, but he was a bitch.
Job. But real quick, they did a good job explaining the technology, sort of how it's all connected to water. Well, not really explaining it, but kind of making that work, and the armor, and how certain people can breathe above water and certain people can't. So that they
The highborn.
That's really all they said was if you're highborn, you can breathe above water. That was it. That's all they said.
Kept it simple. It wasn't some magical metachlorian bullshit. They kept it simple, and I like that.
Midichlorians are complicated, okay? It's just the way it is.
All right, next we had Nicole Kidman as Atlanta, however you say that shit. I liked her in the movie. I like Nicole Kidman. We had Dolph Lundgren, King Orm. When I saw
I didn't even know it was him.
I'm like, Dolph Lundgren.
I didn't even realize it was him.
And he looks pretty. I mean, he looks beat, but I don't think he looks
terrible. He definitely looks beat, bro.
I don't think he's terrible considering what he's gone through.
Him in Creed 2, he definitely looks beat.
Yeah. If he dies, he dies. We have Yasha Abdul Mateen II as Manta. I think that
I like
was
Manta
cool.
in this.
I like how
it was garbage. Come on.
Wait a second.
No, I like Manta.
They brought him in a dumb. I thought was kind of dumb. Like, would Aquaman really leave him and his dad there to die? Like, let the ocean judge you, wherever the hell that line was. That was freaking stupid, also. But we also got to see in that scene that what's his name, Arthur Curry, is bulletproof. So that answers that question. But you didn't like Manta at all, Julie?
No.
Wow.
It was ridiculous. It was so stupid.
That's
like you could have done Manta any other way, and I'd have been like, yo, this is lit. But it looked so cheesy and cheap. It was horrible.
I liked it. I like they showed him making his armor, like making the helmet. Like, I love that whole scene was awesome. You know, I really like Manta. I thought he was a good
one
villain.
Of the fastest villain backstory creations in a movie. You know what I mean? I mean, Manta was always kind of a dumb villain, in my opinion, in the DC world. And here he is making some waves. I mean, I think that they didn't utilize the character enough. Maybe too many villains, because he just seemed to be like a roadblock, like a speed bump in the movie, instead of maybe
What I would have done. What I would have done is I would have kept the whole submarine scene, but then just have like your cutscene, him making the Black Manta armor, and then you lead the second movie where Black Manta's his main villain. I would have done something like that.
Yeah, but see, the problem was the helmet looked like something out of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It was trash.
That's Black Hamlet's helmet,
it looked
though.
like
it's
garbage.
I don't know how you make it any better. Like,
it looked so.
That's Black Manta, man, from the comics. I mean, I don't know how else you're gonna make it better.
The whole outfit looked like garbage. I don't know. I was just like, literally when that part came, I was like, what? I was done. I was over it at that point.
Yeah, I like the helmet. I like the way it was created. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I thought his costume was great.
Yeah, I thought the costume was pretty good. I don't think it was.
We will
bad.
agree to disagree on that point.
Fair enough. All right, let's see. The
rest are just minor characters. I don't know if you want to rush.
Manta's father. I kind of felt bad for that guy dying the way he did, even though they did,
He's a pirate. How do you feel bad for a pirate?
Because
he killed innocent people.
Well, I'm not saying that that's good. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Michael Beach is a great actor, though. I used to watch him on Third Watch. It was a great show.
Yeah, me too.
I also like the young people, Tamor and Tanu Kirkwood, the two Kirkwood twins. I guess they're twins. Playing as the young Arthurs. I think they did a nice job finding someone that kind of looks like.
Yeah, that was cool. That was neat. The one scene I really, really liked was when they were at the aquarium. This was one of the scenes that I really, really loved. When they were at the aquarium and the kids were picking on him, and like the shark was like, "No, you're not gonna mess with him." And then all of a sudden he turned around and he put his hand up, and the the sonic waves went through, and then he like calmed the fish down, and I was like, yo. And then he turned around, and then his eyes went yellow. I was like, whoa. Like that part I liked. I thought that was really cool.
He's the only one that can talk with he's the only one that can do that of all the Atlanteans, which is, I kind of want to know why. That's
because he's the true
that's
king.
another thing.
Just just add midichlorians to it. Why not?
Why the hell not?
I kind of thought that was interesting, but I had a couple of issues with that scene. For one, he's I don't know. It's just like talking to fish thing was kind of. I know that he does it in the comics and he does it in the animated. You know, when he puts his hand on his head.
Yeah, but if you think about it though, Chris, the way that they did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with him just putting his hand up and the sonic coming out, it's not like, you know, he's like standing there talking to fish or whatever. The way they kind of did it was that they showed it as a power that he has, like an extension of who he is, which was really well done. Like if he was just walking out, like just swimming by and like he was talking to a whale, like, hey, what's up? Like that would have been really stupid. But when they went into the whale's mouth and he put his hand on the inside and he was communicating with it, like the way they did that part, I liked. I thought it wasn't cheesy.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was really well done.
The Pinocchio reference was fun as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one surprised me. Julie Andrews was in this movie.
Where?
She voiced was it
Is that one of the fish people?
What's that name? Cassandra? I have no idea. I'm on IMDb and I don't know what the character is. Karathen? I have no idea what character. Was that the beast, maybe? The giant beast he was talking to, I think.
There is.
So that's awesome.
Wow. I just noticed.
How did I not even realize that?
There is a bunch of people.
I'm on IMDb.
There are a bunch of people live on the show in the chat, and I just noticed that it's going crazy here. I didn't realize we had so many people watching. But Dre makes a great point about the powers. The Atlanteans all had different powers. It was part of their evolution when Atlantis sank. He can communicate when he had to battle that creature to get the trident. He was able to communicate and talk to the sea creature. Yes. So thank you, Dre. That's awesome for clearing that up. And Kente, who is the owner of Indie Radio here, asked, did my son like Aquaman? My son hasn't watched it yet. I didn't take him to the movies to see it. I might have gotten it. I might have streamed it illegally to watch it before for the podcast. I may take him to see it, or I might just wait till. I'll probably wait till it comes out, and I'll stream it either on one of the streaming services, or I'll buy it on iTunes. Even if the movie is terrible, I still buy all the DC movies to show support, because I love that DC. I love that Marvel, the DC, that all these companies are making movies. And yes, Dre, I did love Man of Steel. I'm going to kind of talk about that in a second. So, a lot of awesome points to this movie, a lot of bad ones apparently. So, Julie, you're not liking this movie at all.
Nope.
I like the scene. I like the CGI in the movie. I think they did a pretty decent job with the battle scenes, being underwater.
Yeah, except for the whole lava underwater thing.
You didn't like that at all?
Literally made like what? That made no sense. Lava underwater.
Yeah, there's lava. There's lit up. There's volcanoes in the sea. There's the science behind this stuff. I mean, come on, that's science.
I know you're Canadian and all, but
you have to look it up. Look it up. I'm telling you, there's lava is the hottest
comes
thing
from the depths, but it's not. You can't have like running lava underwater.
I think you can.
No, you can't. Oh my God, no, you can't.
I'm not a scientist either, but let's move on to more parts of the movie here. I want to go back to the scene where young Arthur puts his hand up and he's talking to the fish at the aquarium, because there was something that really drove me crazy about that. You have this big ass shark, right? And it slams into the glass. And
that's really heavy glass.
Yeah, I don't think that could have actually broke that glass. It couldn't have cracked it, honestly.
But it could have. You don't know, because sharks don't do that stuff.
That shark would have killed itself doing that. But it was good for the movie. It was definitely good for the movie and showing the point that he can talk to fish, and everyone's like, "Oh my God!" But on another note, a scene that I did enjoy was the actual battle, the Ring of Fire battle, which I thought was really good.
Yes. I really like that battle between Or, the first battle with Or and Aquaman. It really was nice. I really loved it. And Aquaman held his own until Or destroyed his mom's trident.
Yeah, that kind of demoralized him big time. That was a good scene. Yeah. I like that. Well, that part of the movie I did like, but when we went on the adventure, and we're the desert part was kind of fun too. When Mira's like, "Oh, we're here," and she just jumps out of the plane, like no fucks given, no parachute needed, just out we go. That was kind of funny. I enjoyed that part.
Yeah,
who knew fish could fly?
And of course, the whole sweat making the activating the key.
Yeah, but then the whole I could have just peed on it. That was like, dude, why do we need that?
See, I think the bad writing takes away from this movie.
Yeah, we just didn't need that.
You just chalk it up to bad writing.
Here's one of the things I really loved about this movie. I really loved where they washed up all the garbage and all that stuff from the sea at all the different ports and everything, and they talked about, it was very social, especially with what we're dealing with climate change and everything like that. And we've got to clean up the sea, in order to help preserve the planet. I really liked that aspect of it. Only problem with it was they didn't go further. They kind of just let it hang there with all the garbage. And then it was more of a battle between the two brothers, and I don't know. It was, but I really liked it because of the social aspect of it. How important it is that we clean it up. We clean up the sea. Especially with what we're dealing with climate change. So I really enjoyed that portion of it. But they just kind of let it hang there, which was awkward.
Well, the whole Ocean Master in the comics, he's always wanted to wage war against the surface. So he always wants to take the throne from Aquaman so he can lead a war against the surface. This plot is from Chris. You'll know this. This is from Throne of Atlantis, essentially. This is from the Justice League Throne of Atlantis, only there's no Justice League in it, but this is almost like Throne of Atlantis where he has to take the throne to stop a war. I kind of like it. The
animated version was good. Did you watch the animated movie?
Yeah.
Yes. I enjoyed that very much. But I want to mention this real quick. Someone said in the chat, I don't know who it was, that Momoa made the movie work, even with the shitty writing. And I'll agree with that. I don't think that
it's good to look at.
Yeah, but if you didn't cast, I think they did a great job casting him as Aquaman. I don't know if they could have done a better job. But that really brought a lot to this movie and to Aquaman's franchise, really. That's a big part of it right there. I still think that the movie was lame. I enjoyed it for what it was. Just having a DC character on the screen gets me excited. I like that. Just seeing comic book movies in general on the screen, I like that. Because you would have told me this 25 years ago, hey, some of your favorite characters, whether they be DC or Marvel, are going to be on, have a movie in live action, I would have said, you're lying to me. We live in an amazing time these days where we can have this kind of stuff. Now, the writing was kind of shitty. The jokes were kind of dumb, but we got some action and we got some more superhero content to watch, which is what's really selling these days at the movie theater, honestly.
Well, I found it really interesting that they were able to do these fight scenes and action scenes and stuff underwater. Now, obviously, they didn't shoot the movie underwater; it's all CGI. But the way that they were able to blend it in as if it was a regular on land action movie, that was actually really well done. They were able to really make sure that the hair would flow the right way, would it be underwater and stuff like that. So the way that they did the fighting and action sequences, that was actually really well done. I will say that.
Yeah. As for the makeup, the costumes, the way they did the wardrobe, I thought it worked very well.
Yeah, it blended really nice.
And I was worried. Go ahead, John.
I like with special effects. I like that they can go like. I like when they go super fast in the water.
Yeah, that was
Like,
cool.
it's almost like that was awesome. That he can go like all of them could just go super fast underwater.
Yeah, that was cool when they showed
and
him
I really
and
did like the
Willem
special
Dafoe
effects.
on the top of the rock, and I was like, wow, what are they doing? And they jumped in,
Yeah.
but you know, the whole sequence of the going back where Willem Dafoe is like grooming him and showing him, you know, how what powers they have and all that stuff. That was really neat because it would really helped you as the person. Like, again, like I say, if you hadn't seen Justice League and you're just watching Aquaman and that's it really helped you kind of understand what Aquaman could and couldn't do, type of thing. So that was really neat.
I also like, well, at first I was worried. I don't know how you guys felt with not seeing Aquaman in his costume and the way they were going to present that. And
I liked it.
I have to say, I agree, John. I liked it as well. But
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought that was fun.
I like that.
I mean,
because that's like the true king outfit, right? That's whatever his king, the guy's name was. That's his true outfit.
That they didn't make the outfit look ridiculous. Like it was just enough where it wasn't like, you know, this is kind of cheesy. They made it was just enough.
Iconic for the character, but not stupid like Green Lantern.
Yeah,
no.
Valid.
That was totally
so
lame.
valid.
You want to talk about a bad DC movie? Let's talk about that. I mean, that's terrible. Yeah, the actual Justice League outfit he wore was awesome as well. And when I watched the movie Justice League, I thought that was going to be a Trident, and I thought, okay, well, he just gets the Trident like that. And of course, then they were talking about the Aquaman standalone movie, and I thought, okay, this is where it's going to get awesome.
I kind of was hoping that him getting the Trident, I was kind of hoping that would be a little bit more of a test. You know, when he finally went through the waterfall and he was gone, I was like, okay, now there's just this weird giant squid thing smacking you around. Okay, that's fine, but I was kind of hoping that there would be like a more of a test to prove himself.
I think him talking to her proved himself because she said no one since the actual king, whatever his name is, I'm going to find his name because no one has ever talked to me like that. No one's ever talked to me like that since King, where's it right here? Whatever his name was, King Atlan, you know? So, and that's the last guy to wield this. So obviously if you're the last guy, if you're the first guy to talk to this ridiculous creature,
I'm not even sure what it was.
Then you can wield it. So I don't know what it was. I thought it was a Kraken, but that thing's huge. Like, holy crap!
Would Aquaman have won if he didn't have the creature against Ocean Master at the end of the movie? When Aquaman,
well, he beat him single combat.
Like, hey, here I am, and here's my big creature, and you're all gonna, you know.
You're talking about like the big crab thing that he was riding on?
Yeah, at the end of the movie. If he didn't have
the giant
crab louse creature thing.
Yeah, but then they go up to the surface.
He ends up beating him.
But they go up to the surface and then they're on the deck of that like one ship thing.
Gente says he had crabs.
I don't think it's a crab though, Chris. I don't think it's a crab. I think it's just this giant sea monster.
Crab louse thing. I don't know what the hell it was, but did you guys like that ending scene? I thought that the battle with the crab people was kind of neat. The crab people were cool. Trench crazy fish people were kind of neat. And I like the fish people.
Dude, Chris, you know those like the guys that when they went to the trench, those creatures, didn't it remind you from the creature from the Black Lagoon? A little bit, you're like
the hands. Like
it was like, wait, what's happening right now?
But not the faces. They look like a cross between like a man, the creature of the Black Lagoon, and a piranha face. Like
it was weird.
I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah. My favorite scene was that battle where Ocean Master, he finally puts on the iconic the mask. and he's like, "Rise, Atlantis!" And you see just an arm. Like, I love when you see the visual of all the guys riding sharks and all the ships, and then they go like they wage war against the Brim, and I love that whole thing.
I love that they were.
I wanted it to be a little bit longer.
That was the coolest thing. Like, I was like, dude, this is great.
I will say, I think the battle was rushed a little bit. I would have loved if they cut a little bit less other stuff and made the battle a little bit bigger and a little bit more longer. And the fight with, I think they also rushed Aquaman fighting Orr. That was a little bit rushed too, but that whole scene and then him fighting Orr and just destroying this. I mean, it's awesome. That's my favorite, is that whole ending sequence, the whole battle leading up to Aquaman finally fighting, bringing in the trench people, that big monster, and then finally beating.
I really liked visually Atlantis. I thought it looked stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was gorgeous. And I like the backstory for Atlantis also. And
that was cool too.
Yeah. The explanation to how they were more advanced than everybody else and how that kind of affected their abilities in their world. I thought that was really, really well done as well.
Yeah, I really like that too.
Well, because that's how Atlantis was a myth. Well, the mythology of Atlantis in our time was that it was this technological thing, and then it just kind of like sank into the ocean. I like that they explained how it was just one kingdom, and then when it sunk, it broke off into all like it broke off into separate kingdoms. So you had like Dolph Lundgren's Min's kingdom, you had the Brim, and then some of them disappeared. Like obviously the Sahara Desert was once ocean, and then that kind of they kind of fell off. So I kind of like that explanation of all the kingdoms broke away from Atlantis.
Yeah, that was really well done. I thought that was if I had to pick, that was probably one of my favorite parts when they showed Atlantis and then they went through the backstory with it. That was really cool because it was like, I remember as a kid growing up and you would read like, stories about Atlantis, and I was like, I want to see it. And then to get a visual of it, like that was really, really, really well done. I thought
there was a lot of
Hi, Monica.
Nice stuff in this movie. I mean, when a princess girl was wearing that Mara, whatever her name is, she's wearing that really neat gown, and the back of it are like they're jellyfish.
Yeah, that was so cool how they did that.
See that until the second watch through of the movie.
That was really cool. You know what's funny though? I think I have to watch it again because I'm pretty sure that I missed a lot of stuff because I was just shaking my head a lot, like what the hell. I think if I go back and watch it again, I'll see a lot of stuff that I may have missed. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to change the story, that's for sure, in the writing. But there were some little details I thought were really cool, like that. Those kind of details, I like that in a movie, especially. I'm eventually going to own this on my giant 4K TV now, and I like this. I really like seeing those things, like when you look at the scroll work that's on the trident or like in the armor. Like when Man of Steel came out, I love the way they did his outfit, and I'm sitting there like paused staring at it, like, oh, that looks so cool, but. I am a Superman nerd.
It's because you love Superman.
My favorite. In terms of,
I like that.
In terms of, how do you guys think? We kind of touched on this earlier. How do you think Aquaman did compared to the other DC movies to date?
I rank it second. I'll rank it second to Wonder Woman.
How far back are we going with the DCs, though? That's the thing.
Let's say,
like some of the Superman were garbage.
On.
What?
Let's say from the new universe, so 2013 on.
Okay, we'll do that because we're not talking about the original stuff. We're not talking about Michael Keaton Batman.
Because if you go,
none of that. We're just talking.
No. I was thinking of the reboot of Superman, the ones that like we were excited for, and then we watched them, and then we're like,
you mean like Superman Returns, where Superman is a creeper?
No.
I'm going from 2013. Man.
Okay, so nothing. The reboot was like around the time you got married. Remember, Chris? Because you came into the Superman theme song. Whatever.
It was terrible.
That's what I'm saying. They're garbage. That's why I don't watch them, or why I'm not trying to remember them.
I got it second.
All right, so we're going from 2013 forward.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a second to Wonder Woman. Keep in mind, I go into now any DC movie, I go into very low expectations. Just so I don't get disappointed. So if it is good, I'm sorry. I mean, I like Batman v Superman. There's parts that I like. I like Justice League. Suicide Squad was okay though. I got some issues with that. So I go into everything with like this low expectation, and then if it exceeds, then I'm happy. But I'm not going to be disappointed again by DC. Okay, so I rank it second to Wonder Woman.
Okay, what about you, Julie?
I would put Wonder Woman first. Probably Man of Steel second. This is going to be a very unpopular opinion, and I apologize, but it's just how I feel. I feel Batman versus Superman would be 3. And then I would probably put this one at 4. And that's probably where I would put it.
Okay. For me personally, if you can't tell, I'm probably going to be biased here. Man of Steel was first. Man of Steel is still my favorite superhero movie to date. I don't care how good Marvel is doing or DC. Relaunching Man of Steel and having Henry.
What's his name? Henry Cavill.
He's awesome
he's really good at it.
Cavill.
So Man of Steel is always going to be my number 1. Always. Number 2 would be Wonder Woman. Number 3 would be Aquaman. And then I would do Batman versus Superman. That might change if the Flash movie comes out and it's going to be awesome.
Don't hold your breath on that one.
I swear to God, if they screw up, I'm going to be pissed if they screw it up.
I'm a little worried.
Who's directing?
The problem now, I don't even think it's started filming yet, to be honest.
I really hope they don't screw that up, because if you got to hit Flash out of the park.
The problem now is when you go into the Flash, everyone's going to come. Here's the problem with the Flash is everyone's going to instantly compare it to the TV show. And a lot of people think Gufferson, that's his name, I think, he's the best. He's an amazing Flash. And I think unfairly, whatever this movie is, it's going to get compared to that. And I don't think you can play Flash better than the way Grant Gufferson does in the Flash TV show.
Speaking of, I agree with you, John. Speaking of TV shows, some of the music in Aquaman felt similar to the music in Arrow. Like the way they had that high pitched. John, you probably know what I'm talking about.
Yes. Okay. So if you're talking about
I have to go back and look.
The orchestra stuff was good, but the whole like random Pitbull crappy rap song in the middle of the movie was garbage. Like that was such trash.
Yeah, I don't remember Pitbull. I got to go back now.
Like,
but
when they were coming out of the water and they were like on their way through the Indian Ocean or whatever, and they got on the beach, it was a Pitbull. So I was like, what the hell is happening? Right? This is so what? I was done. I was like, what?
Yeah, the score in the movie I thought was very well done.
The orchestra stuff, like that part of it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It really felt like, I know it's going to sound weird, but it felt underwatery, and I liked that.
It did. Yeah.
I'm a Cancer, so I'm a water sign. Chris, you are too. I love the water. So this had to I really had to love it because it's Aquaman, for Christ's sake. You know, I always felt like I was a fish out of water. And it missed the mark big time.
So I guess it's fair to say that you would not recommend this movie to your fellow nerds to watch.
No, I feel like everybody should watch it and draw their own conclusion to how they feel. You know, that's the beauty of, superhero movies, whether it's DC. Listen, the DC Marvel, fans back and forth, it was always like a great battle. And I feel like, people should definitely watch it and draw their own conclusions. I wouldn't want to hinder anybody from watching the movie. I would just caution you that it's not like, if you're going in expecting like Iron Man or Captain America, forget it, because it's not happening. It's not even close to those kinds or like even another obscured character, Doctor Strange, right? Strangelove. It's an obscure character, but when you watch that movie, you're like, yo, this is a great movie. You would hope like that Aquaman would hit that mark, and it just didn't at all. It just didn't. So that's my opinion. Please watch it for yourselves and draw your own conclusion.
Kente wanted to know, would you watch it again, Julie?
Actually, I would. I would watch it again because I think the first time, when I was actually watching it originally, I was just constantly shaking my head like, what the hell am I watching? So I think I missed some stuff. Might been some substance that I missed. So yeah, I would definitely watch it again just to make sure that, my assessment of it is accurate.
All right, so we're getting closer to the end of the show here
I saw it
because we only
twice.
have an hour window.
Because
So
you're
what we're going to do is we're going to review them. We're going to give our rating. So if you haven't heard the podcast before, I know it's been almost 3 years since we recorded. We used to record this with pocket protectors, because we're nerds. So we're going to do that again, except for we're going to do 1 to 5. So on a scale of 1 to 5 pocket protectors, and any other final comments you might want to have on the movie, Julie, how many pocket protectors would you rate this movie? 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Is there anything you want to change about the movie to make it better? Go.
I would give it 3 pocket protectors. And the reason why I say that is, 1, I liked the underwater fight stuff. I thought the CGI in this and the cinematography was really well done. Some of the, take out the crappy rap, the music was really well done. And Jason was obviously the fantastic eye candy, and that's great coming from a lesbian. I thought, wow, holy God, he's hot. But there were certain aspects of it I liked. I like the social aspect of it with, like we talked about with the ocean cleanup. I thought that was really cool. I know, Kente, right? What? But yeah, so I mean, I would give it a 3, just because there were some aspects of it I liked, but I'm not giving it any more than that because the story was the writing was crap.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and give it probably 3.5 pocket protectors. The story was weak, but I definitely enjoyed the action for what it was. I like Jason Momoa. Maybe he's not the best actor in the world, but I did like him. I like him as Aquaman very much. I think that DC did a good job casting him for this particular role. You have a lot of pretty iconic actors in here. You know, Willem Dafoe. I mean, come on, it was the motherfucking Antichrist. I love. He's one of those actors I really like. Kind of like Walken. I like him as well. So they're kind of like in the same ballpark to me. What's her name? Nicole Kidman. I like her. So she was in the movie. And of course, we have Jango Fett in the movie, which was cool.
And she's 51, not 65. I don't want people to throw us hate mail.
Yeah, but she looks incredible for her age. I like Dolph Lundgren. I thought having him in the movie was kind of fun. There was a lot of people in here. Yaha Abdul Mateen, I think he did good as Manta.
And Julie Andrews, that we didn't even know about.
I know, Julie Andrews, who I love.
I gotta go back and rewatch it just because it's Julie Andrews.
He's one of my favorite actors and people on the planet. I mean, nobody does Mary Poppins like Julie Andrews did.
Thank you.
Care what anybody says.
Julie
Andrews is she's Mary Poppins, period. That's all I can say about that.
I love you, Emily Blunt, but nah, fam, nah.
So there was a lot of good in this movie, even though there was a whole lot of bad. The CGI, I think, was well done, even though it was very, very heavy on that front. But I mean, how could you not do that? We're underwater, for most of the movie, battle scenes, and we're riding on the back of sharks and some kind of whale dinosaur creatures. I got to say though, the journey to the center of the earth was kind of dumb, and you have the dinosaurs running around. I thought that was kind of corny. But what are you going to do? You know, the writing was weak, but I did have a fun time in this adventure. I'm glad I did not go to the movies to see this, but I will end up buying it to put into my DC collection. I just hope the DC can get their shit together.
Right.
At it. So I'm going to give it 3.5 pocket protectors, and I'm hoping for the best for DC. And I hope they don't relaunch the franchise after they just established these characters. All right, General Jonathan Stoma Stark Lover, you have the last say on this movie. Give us your rating and review, pal.
I'm gonna give it 3.5 out of 5. I think it could have been a little bit shorter. I would have saved Black Manta for the second movie. I would have had him in the submarine, but then do maybe a cut scene at the end where he's making the Black Manta armor, and that leads to the second movie. There was a lot of corny lines in it, so there's that. But I did love the big battle at the end. I thought the special effects was amazing. The fast swimming was awesome. It kind of like Superman in the air, but in the ocean. So I thought that was awesome. You know, outside of that, Jason Momoa, he's not the best actor, but he did good in this. I think he was a good casting as Aquaman. I think King Orm, Patrick Wilson. I think that was a great DC villain. I thought he was amazing. And considering they don't have a really great villains in this DC universe so far, he's a good villain. So outside that, I've seen it twice in the theater, so I recommend seeing it. And I mean, outside that, I mean,
Yeah, that's good.
what should have been a little bit less time and more on the
I'm
battle.
a little disappointed we didn't get any cameos from any of our DC characters, like Superman doesn't show up, or even Batman. And I was a little
I think
bit
that
worried
would have been
about
too much.
Well, I'm worried about that because there are rumors that Cavill may not be doing Superman, although Momoa said that that's not true, that he still wants to do it. There's rumors that Ben Affleck isn't going to be doing Batman anymore, and this is after they established these characters.
No. Ben Affleck is doing it.
So
he's just not directing it. They're doing a Batman movie on its own. He was supposed to direct it, but he is no longer directing it, and that's why it was delayed because they had to find a new director.
Affleck, okay.
But Ben is doing it.
I think it's because the reason there wasn't Justice League characters here is because I think they're scrapping the shared universe and just stick it to. Because I think I think they're failing at shared, so I think they're just going to stick to let's just make single movies and just go from there. But I think the shared universe, I think there's because they can't get Flash made, I think, and Batman is taking forever to be made. So to do I think they're scrapping that. That's the latest thing I heard.
They need to keep it shared. Otherwise, I'm not going to be sticking on the DC movie bandwagon because I like the shared part. That's what really brings it to me. Real quick, I just want to say to everyone that's been supporting us here at Total Nerd Takeover Studios, we really appreciate it. Our website is under construction because we're doing a lot of different stuff with my company, but you can find out a lot of stuff we do at tnerdt.com or totalnerdtakeover.com. We have a lot of new stuff going on, and don't forget, if you like Behind the Iron Throne, check out Behind the Iron Throne. You get
Game
it
of
on
Thrones,
iTunes.
you mean?
Our Game of Thrones podcast. It's really, really fun. You can check it out on Facebook. You can find it wherever podcasts are. And I'm also working on a podcast educational website called YesYouCanPodcast.com. We live in an amazing world where everyone's voice can be heard, and I'm going to take my years and years of experience and teach people how to be heard online, whether people want to hear your voice or not. So that's just some of the stuff I wanted to mention. You can find all my social media at Chris J. Gray, the number 7. And of course, for our podcast listeners, we'll have everything in the show notes. And I want to thank you guys for being on the show. Julie, thanks again for being here. I appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me. And thanks, Kente, for inviting us to be a part of his 24 hours podcasting. It was great.
Yeah, on Indie Radio.
Indie
right?
Radio.
24 hours of podcasting. God bless you.